What if an experiment could destroy the planet? This isn't the plot of a science fiction movie. It was a very real fear that gripped millions when the world's largest machine was about to be turned on. Deep beneath the border of France and Switzerland, scientists built the Large Hadron Collider, a 17-mile ring designed to smash tiny particles together at nearly the speed of light. The goal? To recreate the conditions just moments after the Big Bang and unlock the deepest secrets of our universe. But as the countdown began, a terrifying question emerged from the public and even some scientists. What if they made a mistake? The experiment itself is a marvel of human ingenuity. Imagine taking two beams of protons, particles smaller than an atom, and accelerating them in opposite directions around this massive circular tunnel. Guided by thousands of powerful superconducting magnets, these protons race around the track over 11,000 times a second. Then, at specific points, the beams are made to cross, causing the protons to collide with immense energy. In these tiny, fleeting fireballs, conditions hotter than the center of the sun are created. Scientists hope that exotic, never-before-seen particles would emerge from the wreckage, like the famous Higgs boson, which gives other particles mass. The idea was to probe the very fabric of reality, to test our most fundamental theories about how everything works. It is like trying to figure out how a watch is made by smashing two of them together and studying the pieces that fly out. Except in this case, the watches are the universe's building blocks. But as news of this unprecedented experiment spread, so did a wave of anxiety. Headlines screamed about doomsday machines and scientists playing God. Petitions were signed, lawsuits were filed, and a global debate erupted. Why were people so scared? The concerns weren't just random panic. They were fueled by a few specific, though highly speculative, scientific what-ifs. The sheer scale and power of the collider were unlike anything humanity had ever built before. We were venturing into uncharted territory, creating energy levels not seen in nature since the dawn of time. The public heard terms like Big Bang machine and understandably got nervous. When scientists are talking about recreating the birth of the universe, it's natural to wonder if they could also accidentally trigger its end. The fear was amplified by the fact that the science was so complex, leaving most people to rely on simplified and often sensationalized media reports. It was a classic case of the fear of the unknown. So, what was the worst-case scenario that had everyone so worried? There were a few chilling possibilities, but the most famous one was the idea of creating a micro black hole. In theory, if you concentrate enough energy into a tiny enough space, gravity could become so strong that it collapses in on itself, forming a black hole. The fear was that even a microscopic black hole created in the collider could be stable. It would sink to the center of the Earth and begin to devour matter slowly but surely, growing in size until it had consumed our entire planet from the inside out. A quiet, unstoppable apocalypse initiated by our own curiosity. Another, even stranger idea was the creation of something called a strangelet. This is a hypothetical particle that could, in theory, trigger a chain reaction, converting all normal matter it touched into more strange matter, effectively turning the Earth into a bizarre, dead lump of exotic stuff. With these terrifying possibilities being discussed, it's no wonder people were imagining a future where a Swiss experiment accidentally erased our world. There was a pause, a collective breath held by the world as the switch was about to be flipped. And then, nothing happened. The Earth did not get swallowed by a black hole. We weren't converted into strange matter. The experiment was a staggering success, leading to the discovery of the Higgs boson and a Nobel Prize. So why were the doomsday predictions so wrong? Well, the scientific consensus was always that the experiment was safe. Experts carefully addressed each fear with clear, logical reasoning. Take the micro black holes. While some theories do suggest they could be created, the same theories predict they would evaporate almost instantly through a process called Hawking radiation. They wouldn't have time to do any damage. More importantly, scientists pointed to a powerful piece of evidence, the cosmos itself. Earth is constantly being bombarded by cosmic rays, particles from space that are far more powerful than anything the Large Hadron Collider could ever produce. These natural collisions have been happening for billions of years, hitting our planet and the moon, and we haven't been devoured by a black hole yet. If it were possible to create a dangerous, stable black hole this way, nature would have already done it millions of times over. The strangelet theory was even more speculative, with most physicists agreeing that the conditions required for their creation and stability were simply not possible within the collider. Ultimately, the fear was a product of imagination, while the safety was a product of rigorous calculation and observation of the natural world. The story of the Large Hadron Collider, from its ambitious conception to the global panic, and its ultimate triumph, leaves us with a profound and timeless question. How far should science be allowed to go? Every great leap forward in our understanding of the world has involved pushing boundaries and taking risks. From the first controlled fire to splitting the atom, progress often means venturing into the unknown, where the consequences are not fully understood. We constantly weigh the potential for incredible discovery against the potential for unintended disaster. This experiment was deemed safe after exhaustive review, but what about the next one? As our technology becomes more powerful, we will inevitably face new frontiers with new unforeseen risks. Where do we draw the line between responsible exploration and reckless gambling with our future? Progress requires risk, but how much risk is too much? Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into science and fear interesting, be sure to subscribe for more deep dives.